What is going on, everybody? This is Michael Williams from Cartoon Universe, and today I wanted to give a trailer breakdown / my initial thoughts on the new Pokemon Generations trailer. If you're not sure what Pokemon Generations is, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's basically going to be a new mini-series based on the main story of the game, so that's everything from Red and Blue all the way to X and Y, and it looks so amazing. It's going to be a mini-series. Every episode is going to be 3 to 5 minutes long, and there are going to be 18 episodes running from actually tomorrow, Friday, September 16th, all the way through December, I believe it was 23rd. So I'm super excited. I'm disappointed that it's going to be this short, but this could be a precursor to something more. Obviously, this is an anime, not a cartoon. We do want to start diving into some anime-related content, but this will still be mostly a cartoon-focused channel. But every now and then, we're going to dive into the world of anime, and I figured Pokemon would be a great way to introduce us into that realm. So my initial thoughts on this trailer, it just looks so amazing. Like I said, I'm disappointed that it's just a mini series, much like Pokemon Origins, which focused the main story of Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow, with the main protagonist Red and his journey through Kanto. That was only 4 episodes long, with each episode running about 20-30 minutes. It was really cool. I'm glad we're kind of expanding upon that. We're kind of getting somewhat of a follow-up. It's more of a expanded retelling. We'll get to why that is in a second. It's not exactly a sequel, but it looks like it will be following Red as well. But it looks like the Pokemon Company may just be realizing that the older audience wants something more in an anime. We want a more mature storyline, more grounded, more epic, something just a little bit darker. My generation, we grew up on Pokemon. I grew up on Pokemon. I never stopped playing the Pokemon games. But my generation, for the most part, people in their 20s, maybe even late teens, even early 30s, they grew up on Pokemon in the 90s when it was really hot. It was Pokemania and Generation 1 with Red and Blue and Yellow. They may have followed up with Gen 2, but once Gen 3, 4 started coming around, it started dying down, and the younger audience started taking it over. And obviously, there's still a huge demand in the adult market for Pokemon, bigger than ever, really, especially thanks to Pokemon Go. But even before then, we had your adult Pokemon fans like myself that followed the games, because the games actually did have a relatively mature storyline that was very well written, whereas the anime has been going for about 20 years almost, and nothing's really happening. Ash is still 10 years old. He's still making dumb decisions. Team Rocket's still trying to catch this Pikachu, and it's just getting really silly, really ridiculous, and really repetitive. And the older audience wants something more, and more older people probably would have followed the series more had the anime actually grown up with them, but unfortunately it just didn't. But I think the Pokemon Company's realizing this, especially with Pokemon Go coming out, bringing a lot of people who kind of abandoned Pokemon back in the day, kind of brought them back. It reignited this spark that made them love the series in the first place. And now Pokemon is back into the stream of consciousness of the general public, and not just the hardcore Pokemon fans and hardcore gamers. So this would be a great time to introduce a more mature anime, and I think along with Pokemon Origins, Pokemon Generations might just be a precursor to a greater series that will actually have full-length episodes and full-length seasons. I can see this going on Netflix. Like I said, something just a little more mature, a little more gritty, and something that will just catch the eye of more adults. But with that being said, obviously I'm very excited for this mini-series, even if it's just a mini-series, and I wanted to kind of break down what I think is going on in the trailers and what we pretty much know is going on in the trailers. So let's get started. So initially we get a bird's eye view, something very mysterious. We see basically a blue light coming out of a huge gaping hole into some region. It looks like Unova based just on the layout, and it looks like the giant chasm where you fight Kyurem. Some people were saying it was the ultimate weapon from X and Y. I don't think that's the case, because the ultimate weapon did not look like that, and that doesn't really look like Kalos. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that this is the giant chasm where you do fight Kyurem, and we do see Kyurem on the Pokemon Generations poster, but we'll get to that later. Then it looks like we have some sort of Elite Four building or something. We see Agatha, followed by Lance, then Lorelei, and then Bruno walking down stairs going onto a big platform. They're all coming out of individual rooms. I don't know if this is their Elite Four rooms and there's like a secret door where they can walk down. This might be some sort of meeting room. This place looks pretty familiar. It kind of reminds me of Pokemon Coliseum, I think, but I feel like I've seen this place before in a Pokemon game. If you do remember what this is, let me know, but it definitely doesn't look like the traditional Elite Four rooms. It doesn't look like the Champion Room or anything like that, so this looks like some sort of Elite Four meeting place or something along those lines. And of course we see the 3 legendary beasts of Johto, which means our protagonist will probably be running around trying to catch them in one episode or something like that. We might see Usain. We have no idea, but that was pretty self-explanatory. Then this one's really interesting. We see Red encountering Zygarde. Now, Zygarde, if you don't know, is a Generation 6 Pokemon. He's from X and Y. This is his 100% form. He's very complicated. Definitely look him up. But he basically has different forms with different percentages and everything, and he is an X and Y. And what's really interesting about this is that we see Red with Zygarde, and Red is the protagonist from Red, Blue, and Yellow. So I'm assuming this means our main protagonist for the series is going to be Red. I don't think we'll be seeing any protagonist change depending on the regions. You know, I don't think we'll be seeing Ethan in Generation 2. I don't think we'll be seeing Brendan or May in Generation 3 or anything like that. And obviously it doesn't look like we're seeing Callum or Serena in Generation 6 for X and Y. It looks like Red actually traveled to Kalos, most likely. And as we know, Zygarde plays a huge role in the Pokemon universe. We don't quite know what that's going to be yet. He was in X and Y, but he didn't have much of a role story-wise, but we know he's going to play a pretty pivotal part in Sun and Moon, ironically enough, which is weird. I don't think they've ever done that before. But very interesting. Zygarde's very mysterious Pokemon, and it would make sense for Red to encounter him, and especially with Sun and Moon coming out, it would be great promotion for that game. But yeah, I'm assuming Red is in Kalos. I don't think Zygarde's in Kanto. I highly doubt that's the case, so yeah. Then we see Giovanni in his Generation 4 attire from Heart Gold and Soul Silver, where you can actually fight him during a Celebi event, which is kind of a time travel-y thing or whatever, but this is what he's wearing during Generation 2 after Team Rocket is disbanded, and Red has basically inspired him, and Giovanni basically explains how he lost himself over the years with the money and business, and he's basically a mob boss. So he leaves Team Rocket, disbands them, but Team Rocket's still sticking around. They're trying to contact Giovanni, and Giovanni's in hiding, so that's probably what we're looking at here. We don't know if he's going to have any actual interaction with Red or anything like that, but definitely very interesting. We also see Red picking up a Pokeball as if he's just captured a new Pokemon. He's shrouded in shadows for some reason. I don't know why this is. It could be alluding to Generation 2, where he's sort of this mysterious boy atop Mount Silver, and he doesn't really talk or anything. I don't know why, but it's not much of a mystery who Red is. It's very obviously Red. I don't know why they're not showing his face. Very strange. But yeah, this is more evidence pointing towards him being the main protagonist. Then we see Looker, who is basically directing a SWAT team, which is super, super interesting. If you don't know Looker basically, he debuted in Gen 4. I think it was Platinum. I don't think he was in Diamond and Pearl. It was in Platinum. And he was basically trying to stop Team Galactic from wreaking havoc in Sinnoh and the greater universe as a whole. And he came back every generation since. He was in Black and White, where he was looking for the 7 Sages. He was in X and Y. He was trying to arrest Xerosic. So he's been in every generation since. He was also in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. He's been in every generation since Platinum, and he's a very interesting character. He's a recurring character. So it would make sense for him to be in something like this. And he's basically directing what is a Pokemon SWAT team, which is so sick. We have Machamp being a thug, crashing through this wall. Really awesome. We see an Arcanine. We don't know exactly what he's doing. It's possible that he's looking for a Team Galactic. It's also possible that we could be getting some Team Rocket interaction, which would be really, really cool. I would love to see Looker interact with Team Rocket in some way, or be trying to find Team Rocket doing something. But it could be literally anything. Then we see Red and his Pikachu in a coal mining cart, which is interesting, and they're being basically hunted down by a Noivern. More evidence pointing towards Red actually traveling in Kalos, especially since this looks just like Terminus Cave from X and Y because of the coal mining cart and everything. It's really cool that they're kind of alluding to Ash and Pikachu. Red's Pikachu is basically out of his Pokeball right now. I doubt he's going to stay out of his Pokeball, but Red did have a Pikachu in the games in Gold, Silver, and Crystal. So this is really cool to see. And again, it's really cool to see Red interacting with the newer Pokemon, because that's not something we ever really thought we'd see, at least not in anime form. We see Pikachu fighting, assuming that's still Noivern, really great animation. Then we see something really nostalgic, Dragonite versus the shiny Gyarados from Generation 2 in the Lake of Rage. This is most likely Lance's Dragonite since he was relatively involved in that whole story arc. It could be Red's Dragonite because Red is caught all the Kanto Pokemon, so that's a possibility as well. But this is a really cool thing to see. Then we see Blue versus Lance. Now what's really interesting about this, as I said, this is similar to Origins in animation style and everything. And a lot of people are assuming that it's a sequel, but why would Blue be challenging Lance again? That's very curious, especially since Blue becomes a gym leader by Generation 2. So we see Blue fighting Lance with his Blastoise, and he's actually in his Fire Red Elite Green outfit as opposed to Origins, where it was just kind of an original new outfit, sort of based on the first gen games, but now it seems like it's more based on Generation 3. We've never actually seen Blue on his own journey, so that's actually kind of cool that we might actually get to see his perspective of things on how he actually conquered the Elite Four. Then we see Claydol versus Heatran in what I'm assuming is Stark Mountain from Sinnoh in Generation 4. This could be Steven Stone's Claydol, maybe? I don't think Steven played any role in Heatran, but as we can see, there seems to be an amalgam of all the generations in this mini-series. We don't know if it's going to be related. Could be Red's Claydol, could be even Lucas or Dawn's, maybe they're involved in some way, but it's most likely Red's Claydol. He's trying to catch Heatran, something like that. It could be someone entirely different. Then we see a pretty forgettable character from Generation 4 of Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. We see Cheryl with her Chansey. If you don't remember Cheryl, you basically teamed up with her. Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum had a few team up missions where you would kind of join forces with another trainer in a certain predicament, and usually Team Galactic related, and you would basically do double matches with them. So you see her with her Chansey. She specialized in HP heavy Pokemon, so obviously Chansey makes sense. I'm assuming they're in Eterna Forest. That's where you see her in the games. There's no Haunter there. I think there are Ghastly and Mischievous. There's like the only ghost types, but Haunter's the evolved form of Ghastly, so it makes sense. I don't know why Haunter's this huge, but very interesting, very interesting. Then we see Blue's Pidgeot bodying Bruno's Machamp, obviously because flying type is stronger than fighting, again alluding to the most likely scenario that this is a retelling of the Pokemon story. This is not a sequel to Origins. This is completely separate. This is basically Blue's perspective of taking on the Elite Four while Red is, fighting Giovanni or whatever he's doing. And, we know Blue was always ahead of Red. So this is like before Red actually gets to the Elite Four. And we get to see Blue's perspective on that. Then we get a quick shot of Regigigas in Sinnoh. Really cool. Not much to say there. It looks like Red or whoever is going to try to catch Regigigas, which is awesome. And then we finally see Red coming into the Champions Room in Kanto at the Elite Four, and Blue's like, oh, you finally made it, all blue-like and stuff. So again, pretty much confirmation that this is a retelling of the Generation story. What most likely is going to happen, since we already saw Red's perspective, we'll probably get Blue's perspective. We'll see we'll see Blue pretty much trampling through the entire Elite Four, and then we'll finally see Red entering that door, and then Blue challenging him. It'll probably, I don't know if we're going to see that fight again. Like I said, we already saw it in Origins. Maybe they'll just change it up a bit. Maybe Red has different Pokemon, or maybe Blue has different Pokemon, maybe both. We have absolutely no idea, but definitely interesting nonetheless. I'm super excited for this series. Now let's take a look at the poster real quick. Now if we look at the poster, we do have confirmation that we will be getting some Hoenn action. We have Primal Groudon and Primal Kyogre, so it's not going to be just regular Ruby and Sapphire. This is going to be full-on Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire going down. It'd be really awesome if we could get like a Delta episode with like Zinnia and stuff. That'd be really cool. I really love that arc. Then we see Ho-Oh to the right, again alluding to Gold, Silver, Crystal, or I guess technically Heart Gold, Soul Silver. And then behind Ho actually is what looks to be the Spirit Pillar, which will probably play a role with, Giratina, who's right behind right under Ho-Oh, Dialga, Palkia. We'll probably see pretty much every legendary. Who knows if this is gonna play a part with Arceus? We have absolutely no idea at this point. Then right below there we see Kyurem, again adding to the evidence that the beginning is actually the giant chasm. Then we see a really awesome shot in the middle with 3 villains. We have, or 4 villains, I guess 4.5 villains. We see Lysandra, Giovanni, Cyrus, and Getsis, and then N all around Looker. Of course, Looker is known for trying to stop the domestic terrorist organizations. With Lysandra, we have leader of Team Flare, so we'll be getting some ultimate weapon action. Then we have Giovanni. Now, Giovanni actually looks, pretty evilish. So I'm assuming we will be getting some Gen 1 Giovanni stuff where he was actually still doing pretty bad things. And then we have Cyrus to the right, so we'll be getting that whole Diamond and Pearl arc where he's trying to recreate the universe in his image. Gets us an N. I really love the Plasma story arc, so I'm really glad to see them in there, especially N. And then with Getsis being, the evil man, control all Pokemon. But interestingly enough, Cyrus and Lysandra actually have relatively similar goals, so I wonder if they might actually be teaming up, or they could be clashing because they have similar goals but different. Cyrus wanted to recreate the universe in his image, and Lysandra wanted to reset the planet to basically only keep a few people alive to rebuild the Earth that he deemed as worthy to survive. Then we have AZ above all of them, and AZ basically was around during the Kalos War, so I'm really glad to see him. I loved his story arc as well. So we'll be getting a lot of stories. Then we see obviously Zygarde to the bottom left hand side, so we already knew he was going to be in there. So it looks like we're going to get a lot of really cool story arcs here. It looks like it's going to be very legendary focused, most likely very legendary and team organization focused. But I really, really hope we get to see some interaction between the different villain teams, because we never have, other than Aqua and Magma, which they were in the same game anyway. We never saw like Giovanni and Cyrus, having a conversation or battling each other. Like that would just, that would blow my mind. So that would be really cool to see. I'm really glad we're getting all these villains, and if Red gets to encounter all of them too as one protagonist, that'd be really awesome as well. But yeah, that pretty much covers it. I'm super excited for Pokemon Generations, if you can't tell. This has a lot of really great moments, it looks like, from the games, and I really hope, guys, go support this series, check it out, give it the views. It looks like it's going to be successful because the trailer already has over 1 million hits. Pokemon Origins was successful as well, and obviously Pokemon is, like I said, in the stream of consciousness of the general public. So it looks like we're going to be, I really hope this leads into something more. I really do, because we're overdue. Maybe we could actually see some Ore region one day. Maybe we'll get like an Ore series. I doubt it, but this is enough. I will definitely take this. So hopefully this is a sign of greater things to come for the Pokemon animated multiverse, if you will. But that pretty much covers my thoughts on the trailer, what I think is going to go down, and as well as the poster. But let us know what you think. Are you excited for the series? Do you want to see a longer series? Anything that I said you think is correct, anything you think is completely wrong, let us know in the comments down below. I'd also like to give a special shout out to all of our patrons. Thank you so much for your support. If you would like to support us, get some awesome rewards, help us make even greater content, go ahead and click that Patreon link at the end of this video. And also don't forget to follow us on Twitter, and go ahead and follow my Twitter too. I'd really appreciate that. But anyways, guys, I've been Michael Williams. Thanks so much for watching Cartoon Universe, and we will see you in the next video. Peace.